Chicago's #1 news. ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 5 starts right now.
Well, as we know, winter has decided to visit Chicago a little earlier than usual. And while many of us can stay indoors for work, others have to get out in the elements. Well, I just visited a company that prides itself on making weather gear of all kinds, and it's all made in Chicagoland. The Magid Glove Company was born in 1946, right here in Chicago with just 9 employees. Since then, they've grown to nearly 500 workers in a brand new 31-acre campus in Romeoville. And they make all kinds of gear.
Anything that really protects the worker, safety equipment, protective clothing, safety glasses, hard hats, respirators, boots, flame-resistant clothing.
I got a chance to see how the company makes its signature item, gloves. They're important in that cold or wet weather, but also for safety. First, the leather is cut. Then, the workers using sturdy machines that may be up to 75 years old sew the gloves and test the fit. Once the glove is put together with the lining, it goes to a station where it's then turned from that lining back onto the inside. The employees work quickly, but carefully so they don't puncture the leather in the process.
Wow, I'll be done by 5 p.m. Need like 8 arms for this job. I lost a finger. I mean, not one of mine.
Clearly, my skill doesn't lie in turning gloves, so Anka took me to the pressing station.
Nice and fresh.
But it is the skill of workers like Isaac who are able to help make 14,000 pairs of gloves a day. There are gloves with grips and gloves used in working with high voltage situations.
Here at Magid, they make over 2,000 varieties of work gloves. And in fact, some of the technology didn't even exist 5 years ago. For example, the yarn inside this particular glove, it makes it heat resistant, cold resistant, and cut resistant.
Speaking of the yarn, workers use more than 100 different types of yarns and threads. And while they do much of the sewing by hand, some machines with more than 70 needles knit linings of the gloves. While over the years, the technology and some of the equipment has changed, the mission remains the same, keeping people safe at work or out in the weather, and it's made in Chicagoland. And they are very concerned about the safety of their own workers, too, rotating duties so that repetitive motion is avoided as best they can. And guess what? They're hiring. And by the way,
all right, yes, that's a good thing.
You can find the gear in retail outlets around the world. Now, I wanted to bring you an example of just 3 types of the gloves that they make out of thousands of types. So this one is actually heat resistant that you see right here. Nice. It is really, really thick. This is the one that you saw me trying to turn. This is the one that's cut resistant, cold resistant, and heat resistant. This is one that the workers use that you saw with the sewing machines, but I told Rusty that I could use this as a pair of winter gloves for golf because they have a really good grip. But this is just 3 of the thousands of types that they make there. And it was really, really interesting.
I want those gray ones. Give me the gray ones.
That's a great story. Yeah.
Thank you.
That was dangerous looking too when they got you on that. Man.
Isaac was amazing. The rapid fire way that he was doing that, how fast, and they turn out over 14,000 pairs of gloves a day. Neat place, great people.
Chicagoland. We're loving that. Huh?
Keeping us warm, too.
Yeah.
Okay. It is 5:52. More news ahead.